Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Brenda Wright, and today we're going to do quarter to quarter. So I have been working on a blanket for Christmas, and I'm doing it quarter to quarter. This is what it looks like. Well, I started it. As you can see, if you pull it apart, it's little blocks. So it's a little blocks, and it's all together. And so I just thought I'd do a tutorial on quarter to quarter. It's my first quarter to quarter blanket, so yay. I'm using Sweet Delight Prints by Baby Bee. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. That's where I get all my yarn, most of my yarn. It's called Woodland Elderberry, and as you can see, it's very pretty. It's a number 3. So it's a light yarn, and it's 60% acrylic, 40% polyamide, 4 ounces. So this is the color. It's a variegated yarn. Isn't that pretty? It's called Woodland Elderberry. I think it's just gorgeous. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about quarter to quarter. It's a technique, crochet technique. But I've got yarn, they call this yarn puke. This is a new kind of yarn. I had to pull, you pull out from the middle, and this is what you get. So let me fix that, and then we'll begin. Okay, so I've got to the beginning here. So we're going to do a slip knot. And I have a G hook. And so this is a repetitive pattern. And you're basically just making little blocks. Okay, so the first little block, you're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, not counting the one on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. So go back 4 and put a double crochet in that chain, and then double crochet in the next 2 chains. And so this is our first block made. You have your first block made. It's 3 double crochets plus where you turned. So basically 4 double crochets. Okay, so there's your first block. So to make your second block, you're going to chain 6. And basically do the same thing. Double crochet in the 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the hook, not including the chain on the hook, and double crochet into that stitch and into the next 2 stitches. So okay, so now we have 2 blocks. Okay, so we have 2 blocks. Now this is the important part because you're going to do this every round. So you're going to take this first block with your fingers and you're going to turn it up. So it's up, and you're going to go into this part right here and do a slip stitch. Just like that. And that's going to connect the blocks together. So now we're going to chain 2 and do 3 double crochets all in this space right here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now we have 3 blocks. Now when you come to the side, this is going to be the side, to increase and make the block, you're going to do the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then do 2 more double crochets. Okay, so there's our 4th, and now we've made the initial block, so now we're going to take our block here and turn it up. So every row you're going to turn it up to continue. So now we're going to go to this chain 2 space right here, and the next block next to it, and slip stitch, and then chain 2, and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go to the next block in this space here and slip stitch, chain 2, and do 3 double crochets. So each row we're increasing by 1. That's how we're doing this. So as you can see, the first row is 1, the second row has 2 blocks, and the third row has 3 blocks. So when you get to the edge, this is how you increase. You chain 6, 4, 5, 6, double crochet, 4th chain down, and the next 2 chains, double crochet, 1, 2, and so this is what it looks like. And then you're going to turn this up like that, and you're going to go into this chain space right here, slip stitch, chain 2, and do 3 double crochets. And you're going to slip stitch and do 3 double crochets all the way across. Now every row you got 1 more, so you just keep going until until you want to stop, making it bigger. Then you go to the next one in the same spot. You go in that space, slip stitch, chain 2, and make a double crochet 3 times. So you just keep doing that, increasing until you get as big as you'd like. Now, the blanket I'm making, I did it 25 rows of increases. So, you know, it's not very big. Okay? But I'm doing, that's 25 rows. I'm doing a little bit of a different blanket. They're all going to be attached. All the squares are going to be attached at the end. So it's something different I'm doing. Anyway, so now you have 4 blocks. This is your last one. Go into that last chain 2 space, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Now, because of this is a tutorial, I want to show you how you're going to decrease. And I'm not going to make this very big. This is just to show you. Okay, so see, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the next line. So it just increases all the way up. Now, if you go like this, this is how you're making the block. So you're making it this is half the square, and then when you get to the part where you stop, where you've had it big enough, you want to start decreasing to make the other side of the square. So to decrease, this is how you start decreasing. So instead of chaining 6 like we've been doing on the sides to increase, we're just going to chain 1. So you're just going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. And you're just simply going to slip stitch into the first double crochet, slip stitch into the second double crochet, and then instead of slip stitching in the top of the third double crochet, you're going to slip stitch into this space right here. And you're going to slip stitch into there. Then you're going to chain 2 and do 3 double crochets into that space. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now you're going to do it like you have been doing it. Go to the next chain 2 space, slip stitch in there, chain 2, and do 3 double crochets. And we're going to do that all the way across. Okay, so now when you get to the last one, instead of doing a whole block inside of this square or this space like we've been doing, we're just going to do a slip stitch just like that, chain 1, and turn the work. And then we're going to go back like we did before and slip stitch into the first and second double crochet, and then the third double crochet we slip into the space, not the stitch, and then chain 2, do 3 double crochet, and then we come to the next and we slip stitch into that space, chain 2, do 3 double crochet, okay, and now we are coming to the last one. So instead of making another square, we're just going to slip stitch into the top of this chain space, into the space, chain 3 space, chain 1, and turn. And then you slip stitch into the 2 double crochets, and then into the chain 2 space, chain 2, and do 3 double crochets. And what that does is it decreases it for you. And instead of going higher to make it bigger, it's just going on the side. So you're making it on the side instead of the top. So it's not increasing, it's decreasing. And so that's it. You're just going to slip stitch into your chain 2 space. And that is the square. So we've just made a square. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 on top. In the middle, you have 2 rows of 4, and on the bottom, you have 2 rows of 4. So you just made a square. So that's C2C. This is a tiny square. But anyway, that's how you increase and decrease in quarter to quarter. One square, I didn't really color change anything because it was a variegated yarn, and I just kept going and going, and I never had to change anything. So this is a little less than a skein. And so I just had the 2 ends to tie in, one on the beginning and one on the end. On the other hand, this other square that I'm doing has several color changes, and I'm not done with it, but I'm working on it now. So as you can see, it has a lot of color changes. And so this is a totally different, now the technique is the same. The only difference is the color changing. So because there's a lot of color changing, you have 1,000 ends on the back. See all the ends? That's going to be fun to tie in them. But if you're going to do a quarter, make sure that you realize that you're going to be crocheting a lot of, tying a lot of ends in, because that's just the way it happens to be. Okay, so I'm at the top. I'm going to go into my space, do a slip stitch, chain one, because I'm in the decreasing mode now. I've already surpassed the increase stage. You know, you're going to slip stitch over the top here, 1, 2, and then into the space. You're going to slip stitch and chain 2 and do 3 double crochet. So I have 4 blocks of yellow and 3 blocks of white. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 4 blocks of yellow, and when I come to the white, I'll show you the color change. Okay, I'm on my 4th block of yellow, and I've done 1 double crochet, so I have 2 more to go. So there's the 2nd double crochet, and in the 3rd double crochet, I'm just going to do half of it, because I want to bring in my next color, which is white. And so I'm going to finish the last double crochet with my new color, white. And then I take both ends. When I slip stitch into the next square, I'm going to go over both the ends, and I'm going to just give it a little snug tug. Chain 2, and I'm going to go right over those 2 ends. 1, 2, and there's 3 white blocks. 3. So after I've gone over both my ends and done a snug tug, you cut the yellow. Okay, so when you cut the tail, you know, you want to cut it long enough because you're going to tie it in at the end. So you don't want it short tail, because that'll just make it harder for you. Okay, so then we're going to put those tails to the back. We're going to tie them in later. So we're going to continue with our white squares. I have 3 white squares, and then I'm going to change the color to gray. 2, 3. Okay, so on my last double crochet, I do half the stitch, and then I finish the stitch with my new color. I take the 2 tails. When I attach with a slip stitch to the next square, I go over the 2 tails, do a little snug tug, and do the next square, going over the 2 tails, which is now white and gray. And so that's how you do the color changes. And again, do not do quarter to quarter if you don't like tying it ends, which I don't like tying it ends, but I've already started the project, so guess what I'll be doing for the next week? I'll be tying it all the ends. But I was smart, and I only have the 1 square, and the rest of the squares will be like this, where there's only 2 ends, 1 in the beginning and 1 in the end. 2 tie-ins, so, you know. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.